Assalamu alaikum everyone. Today we're going to learn about the structure of a leaf, and in this lesson we're going to explore the different parts of leaf and learn about their functions. So let's start with a brief overview of leaf's structure. So in today's lesson we are going to discuss about the chloroplast, palisade cells, spongy mesophyll, guard cells, stoma, cuticle, upper epidermis, mesophyll, lower epidermis, and vascular bundles. So let's start. What is a leaf? Let's begin by understanding what a leaf is. Firstly, a leaf is an organ. A leaf is an organ. It's not an organism, not a tissue, but an organ. And it is typically green and flat. It is typically green and flat. So a leaf is an organ and it is green, it is flat, and its primary function is to perform photosynthesis. So what is a leaf? A leaf is a flattened outgrowth from the stem of a vascular plant, and in most cases, leaves are green. Why? Because they contain chlorophyll, which makes them the primary site of photosynthesis. And what is the function of a leaf? Beyond photosynthesis, leaves also play other roles. How? Leaves plays a crucial role in gas exchange. How? By taking in carbon dioxide and releasing oxygen, and also in regulating water through transpiration. So a leaf is a flattened, typically green, an organ, and its basic function is photosynthesis, to perform photosynthesis. However, it also has other functions such as transpiration and gas exchange, as well as protection from sunlight and herbivores. So let's talk about the structure of a leaf. Okay, so firstly, we are having the cuticle. What is cuticle? Cuticle is the outermost layer. It is the outermost layer of the leaf. So a cuticle is the outermost layer of the leaf, and it is a waxy layer. It is a waxy layer, and it covers the upper epidermis. This is the upper epidermis, and cuticle covers the upper epidermis of the leaf, and it is made of a substance called cutin. So what is cuticle? It is a waxy layer which covers the upper epidermis of a leaf, and it is made of a substance called cutin. What's its function? Its function is to protect the leaf from water loss and infection. To protect the leaf from water loss and infection. So the cuticle basically acts as a waterproof barrier. How? By reducing water loss from the leaf surface. So let's move on. Okay, so beneath the cuticle, we have the upper epidermis. And what is the upper epidermis? It is the single layer of cells which covers the top surface of the leaf. What is upper epidermis? It is the single layer of cells which covers the top surface of the leaf. And what's its function? Its function is to provide protection from water loss and radiation, and it also secretes a waxy cuticle. So what is upper epidermis? Let's repeat. It is the single layer of cells which covers the surface of the leaf, and it is transparent. So the upper epidermis is transparent. And it allows sunlight to pass through to the mesophyll below. So this is the upper epidermis, and it is transparent. It is transparent. However, it allows sunlight to pass through to the mesophyll. So upper epidermis is the single layer of cells, and it covers the top surface of the leaf, and its function is to provide protection, to provide additional protection for the leaf. And it also aids in reducing water loss and provides a barrier against harmful organisms and secretes a waxy cuticle. So let's move on and discuss another part of the leaf. Okay, so here is the mesophyll. So here is the mesophyll. What is mesophyll? It is the tissue. It's not an organ, it's the tissue between the upper epidermis and lower epidermis. So it's the middle part of the leaf, and it's the tissue between the upper epidermis and lower epidermis. And it is responsible for photosynthesis. It is responsible for photosynthesis. And what's its function? It contains chloroplast for capturing sunlight, because chloroplasts contain a green pigment called chlorophyll, which captures sunlight, absorbs energy for the process of photosynthesis. So the function of mesophyll is to contain, it contains chloroplasts for capturing sunlight and carrying out photosynthesis. And it's further divided into two types of cells. Which cells? One is palisade cells, and spongy mesophyll. So the mesophyll is the tissue between the upper and lower epidermis, between the upper and lower epidermis, and it is responsible for photosynthesis. And what's its function? It contains chloroplast for capturing sunlight and carrying out photosynthesis. And it's further divided into two types of cells. Which cells? Spongy mesophyll and palisade cells. So let's move on. Okay, so let's talk about palisade cells. What are palisade cells? Well, palisade cells are located in the upper part of mesophyll. They are located in the upper part of the mesophyll. As we discussed before, mesophyll is divided into two parts: palisade cells, and spongy mesophyll. So the upper part of mesophyll contains palisade cells. And what are palisade cells? Palisade cells are tightly packed cells. They are elongated and tightly packed, contain a high number of chloroplasts. So they are tightly packed cells which contain a high number of chloroplasts. And what's their function? If they contain high number of chloroplasts, so their basic function is photosynthesis, to perform photosynthesis. Why? Due to their abundance of chloroplasts for capturing sunlight. Why? Because chloroplasts contain a green pigment called chlorophyll to perform the process of photosynthesis. So palisade cells are tightly packed cells which contain a high number of chloroplasts, and their basic function is to perform photosynthesis. Why? Due to their abundance of chloroplasts for capturing sunlight. So let's discuss another part of the leaf. Okay, so beneath the palisade layer is the spongy mesophyll. And what are they? They are irregularly shaped cells in the lower region of the mesophyll. In the lower region of the mesophyll. As mesophyll is divided into two parts, in the upper part it contains palisade cells, and in the lower region of the mesophyll there are spongy mesophylls containing air spaces between them. So the difference between palisade cell and spongy mesophyll. First difference is palisade cells are in the upper part of mesophyll and spongy mesophyll is in the lower part of the mesophyll. And palisade cells were tightly packed. However, spongy mesophyll are loosely packed. Why? Because they contain air spaces between them. And what's their function? They allow for gas exchange within the leaf due to the air spaces. So because of the air spaces between them, they allow for gas exchange within the leaf. They allow for gas exchange within the leaf. So the spongy mesophyll facilitates gas exchange. How? By allowing carbon dioxide, oxygen, and water vapor to circulate freely. Why? Because this arrangement helps the leaf perform photosynthesis and respiration. How? Because they are loosely packed. So spongy mesophyll are irregularly shaped cells. And where are they located? They are located in the lower region of the mesophyll, and they contain air spaces between them. And what's their function? Due to the air spaces between them, they facilitates gas exchange by allowing carbon dioxide, oxygen, and water vapor to circulate freely. So let's discuss another part of the leaf. Okay, so now we have chloroplasts. What are they? Chloroplasts are the green structures. Firstly, they are the green structures and they are organelles. They are not an organ, not an organism, not a tissue, but they are organelles. Where within plant cells containing chlorophyll. What is a chlorophyll? Chlorophyll is a green pigment. Chlorophyll is a green pigment which is responsible for capturing sunlight. Which is responsible for capturing sunlight during photosynthesis. So chloroplasts are the green structures which are found within the mesophyll cells, and they contain chlorophyll. And what is a chlorophyll? Chlorophyll is a green pigment that gives leaves their green color. Why leaves are green? Only because they contain chloroplasts and chloroplasts contain chlorophyll. Because of chlorophyll, leaves are green. And what else chlorophyll is responsible for? It is responsible for capturing sunlight for photosynthesis, and as it captures sunlight inside chloroplast, the light energy is converted into chemical energy. So what's their function? The function of chloroplast is to convert sunlight energy into chemical energy through photosynthesis with the help of chlorophyll. So these are the chloroplasts. And what are they? They are specialized organelles which are located within plant cells containing chlorophyll. And what is a chlorophyll? It is the green pigment which is responsible for capturing sunlight during photosynthesis, and it also provides leaves with their green color. And what's their function? The function of chloroplast is to convert sunlight energy into chemical energy through photosynthesis. How? With the help of chlorophyll. So let's discuss another part of a leaf. Okay, so now we have guard cells. We have guard cells. And what are guard cells? These are the guard cells. And what are they? Guard cells are specialized cells. So guard cells are specialized cells surrounding each stomata. So guard cells are specialized cells that surround the stomata, and they are responsible for opening and closing the pore. They are responsible for opening and closing the pore. This one. So they are responsible for opening and closing the pore. And what's their function? Their function is by changing their shape, whether inflating or deflating, guard cells control the size of the stomata opening. How? By regulating gas exchange and water loss. by regulating gas exchange and water loss. So guard cells are specialized cells. They surround the stomata, which are the tiny openings on the leaf surface, and these cells control the opening and closing of the stomata, regulating gas exchange and water loss. Regulating gas exchange and water loss. And there is one more function for guard cells, which is the guard cells help maintain the plant's water balance. They help maintain water balance. How? By responding to the environmental conditions. So guard cells are specialized cells that surround stomata, and they're responsible for opening and closing the pore. And what's their function? Their function is to control the size of the stomata opening and regulating gas exchange and water loss. And what else? They help maintain the plant's water balance. So let's learn about another part of the leaf. Okay, so now we have lower epidermis. And what is the lower epidermis? Well, it is similar to the upper epidermis. It is similar to the upper epidermis, but it is located on the underside of the leaf. And what is it? It is the single layer of cells which covers the underside of the leaf. And what was the upper epidermis? It was the single layer of cells which covers the upper side of the leaf. However, lower epidermis is also the single layer of cells, but it covers the underside of the leaf. And what's its function? Its function is similar to the upper epidermis. It provides protection and contains more stomata for gas exchange. It provides protection and contains more stomata for gas exchange. So let's talk about another part of the leaf. Okay, so now we have stomata. And what are they? Well, stomata are small pores found mainly on the lower epidermis. So they are the small pores, these one, and they are mainly found on the lower part of epidermis, and they allow gases to move in and out of the leaf. Okay, so they are microscopic pores on the leaf surface, and they allow for gas exchange. What is gas exchange? Carbon dioxide intake and release of oxygen. And what's their function? To control, they're controlled by guard cells. We just discussed about guard cells. Stomata open and close to regulate gas exchange and water loss. What is gas exchange? Gas exchange is the intake of carbon dioxide and releasing oxygen. So let's discuss another part of the leaf. Okay, so lastly we have vascular bundles. And what are they? What are the vascular bundles? They are also known as veins. Vascular bundles are also known as veins, and they are the transportation system of the leaf. They are the transportation system of the leaf. So it is a network of tubes within the leaf transporting water, nutrients, and sugar throughout the plant. So basically, you can say that they are the transportation system of the leaf. And they are also called the veins. They are also known as veins. And what's their function? Their function is xylem vessels transport water and minerals from the roots to the leaf, and phloem vessels transport sugar. Okay, so vascular bundles contain xylem vessels and phloem vessels. They contain two types of vessels, xylem and phloem. And the xylem transports water and nutrients from the roots to the leaves. So it transports water and minerals from the roots to the leaves. And what about phloem vessels? Phloem vessels carries the sugar produced during photosynthesis. Sugar, I told you before that sugar is same as glucose. and glucose is produced by the process photosynthesis. So flowing vessels carries the sugars produced during photosynthesis to the other parts of the plant. So this was all. So let's summarize it. To sum up, the structure of a leaf is beautifully designed to perform photosynthesis and also facilitate gas exchange. So each part, from the cuticle to the vascular bundles, plays a specific role in helping the plant thrive. So Jazakillah khair for joining today's lesson, and I hope you have gained a deeper appreciation for the complexity of leaves.